Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Peekskill Lapolla Little League Baseball. I'm Joe DeChristopher, and we're here at St. Columbanus Field, home of the Cortland American Little League, for tonight's game between the Firefighters of the Peekskill Lapolla Little League and the Angels of the Cortland American Little League. Firefighters are still looking for their first win of the season, and the Angels come in with a record of 6-7. Should be a good game tonight. We got a beautiful night to play ball, and we'll be right back with tonight's starting lineups. Okay, all right. And here are the starting lineups for tonight's games. For the visiting Firefighters, leading off and catching is Jordan Lent. Batting second and playing left field is Josh Leal. Batting third and pitching is Christian Lent. Batting fourth, playing center field, Aiden Ripollet. Batting fifth and playing shortstop is Ruben Marrero. Batting sixth and playing first base, Alana Marine. Batting seventh and playing second base is Margaret Jennings. Batting eighth and playing third base, Sulev Loer. Batting ninth and playing right field is Jaime Lopez. And batting 10th and the DH to start the game is Will Kingston. And for the home team, Angels, leading off and pitching is Gabe Clark. You see him on the mound right now warming up. Batting second and playing first base is Anthony Jaschke. Batting third and playing left field is Paulie Costello. Batting fourth is Frankie Rice, and Coach did not have positions for everybody yet. It looks like Frankie is in right field. Batting fifth is Mike Iannucci. Batting sixth, Chris Zenzamachi. Batting seventh is Tyler Ronk. Batting eighth is Eric O'Brien. Batting ninth, Cameron Wiseman. Batting 10th, Victor Versace. Batting 11th is Justin Laughlin. And batting 12th is Danny Witters. So those are tonight's starting lineups. We'll try to fill in the Cortland American Angels positions as we go, but they are on the field and ready to start tonight's game. Gabe Clark is pitching for the Angels tonight. As we mentioned, they have a record of 6-7. The Firefighters, in their first year of interleague play, are 0-12 and looking for their first win. They stuck together. We had a game of theirs we televised last week. They got pretty good by the Navajo of the Cortland National Little League. But the previous game they lost 2-1 to the Hopi of the Cortland National League. So they're hanging in there, playing good ball. They got 2 games to play to finish out their season. And manager John Egan has been very optimistic about his team's future. And leading it off for Peekskill Firefighters is Jordan Lent. Jordan, big right-handed hitter. Catching tonight, pitched the other night on our televised game, struck out 13 batters, even in a losing situation. Here's the 1-0. Little high and away, 2-0 to Jordan Lent. Jordan is a 12-year-old in his 3rd year in the majors. Had a home run in the first game of the season for the Firefighters. He's here with a 2-0 count right now. That pitch in there for a call, strike 1, 2-1. Our umpire is Rich Emmond. Here's a line drive to left center field. It's going to go all the way to the fence. Jordan turns, heads for second, and the throw. Not in time, and he's in with a stand-up double. So a leadoff double for Jordan Lent. Really probably be safe to say Jordan is probably the best hitter on the Firefighters. John has him leading off tonight. He's batted cleanup a lot of the season. Not a bad idea to put your best hitter up lead up. He gets up the most times. And here's Josh Leal, the left fielder tonight for the Firefighters. Pitch in there for a call strike on the inside corner. Jordan Lent on second with nobody out. Gabe Clark on the mound for the Angels of the Cortland American Little League. A little outside, 1-1. We're just getting started. Top of the first, no score. Outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. You hear umpire Rich Emmond out of the Elite Baseball Umpire Association, run by Earl Berry and Tom Kenzel. 3-1 now to Josh Leal. On deck is Aiden Ripollet, the left fielder, center fielder rather. And low for a ball. So Josh reaches on a walk. That puts runners at first and second for the Firefighters with nobody out here in the top of the first inning. Aiden Ripollet, the center fielder now, hitting for the Firefighters. First and second, nobody out. That pitch high, gets past the catcher, runners do not advance. Backstop not too far from home plate here at St. Columbanus Field, home of the Cortland American Little League, just behind the St. Columbanus Church. Give you a little history that we think we know about the St. Columbanus Field a little bit later on. There's a pop-up on the infield. Shortstop going back and makes a nice play for the first out and throws in. That was not an infield fly because it was not a catch that would have been made with relative ease, and the shortstop, with the sun in his eyes a little bit too, making an over-the-shoulder catch, no advancement by the runners from the Firefighters. And that brings up Aiden Ripollet now, the center fielder. Shortstop going back and makes a nice play. Pitch outside. No go by Jordan. Ooh. And that trying to get out of the way of the pitch. The ball hit the bat of Aiden for a foul ball. You won't believe how many times that happens. More than you think, especially at the younger levels where a pitch headed for the batter might hit the bat. Here's a fly ball to deep center field. Center fielder goes back, is there, and makes a nice catch right in front of the fence. And Jordan holds, and Josh retreats. So Aiden got a good piece, drove it right to the 200 sign, right in front of the Stop and Shop sign for the second inning. Nice. Here's Ruben Marrero now. That pitch swung on and missed. So the Firefighters got 2 on with nobody out, and then a pop-up and a deep fly. Aiden just missing a home run. Good play by the center fielder. That one gets away. 1-1, no go. Again, the backstop not too far away, so a little tough for the runners to advance. That pitch is high. Manager of the Angels is Chris Wiseman, and his coaches are Scott Clark and Russell Jaski. They have a 6-7 record coming into tonight's game. That pitch high and outside. 3-1. To Ruben Marrero. Alon Moran is on deck. Al. That pitch foul tip and caught. Full count to Ruben Marrero. 2 outs, runners at first and second. We're at the top of the first inning. Peekskill Firefighters versus the Cortland American Angels. And that pitch swung on and missed. And the ball caught the ball on a bounce and was able to tag Ruben out for the 3rd out. We do have the drop 3rd strike, and if the ball is dropped by the catcher or if it hits the ground before being caught, then the batter can run. If there's a runner on first base with 2 outs, he can run, or with less than 2 outs, if first base is unoccupied, the batter can run. Good play by the catcher there to scoop the ball and then just tag Ruben before he started down the first base line. So Gabe Clark gets out of a first and second no-out jam. No run scored by Peekskill Firefighters, and at the end of a half an inning, it's Firefighters 0 and the Angels coming to bat. Angels are sponsored by Roosters Wine and Brew. See that on the back of their shirts. They wear the Angels on the front. The Cortland American Little League teams have professional Major League Baseball names. We've seen the Brewers, the Angels. I'm not sure who else are their team names, and then their sponsors they will wear on the back of their shirts. The Peekskill Lapolla Little League teams take the name of their sponsor. So the Firefighters of Peekskill, a long-time sponsor, and Peekskill Lapolla Little League are the sponsor of our lone major league representative in the new interleague play this year in District 33. So Christian Lent on the mound for the Firefighters. He'll be pitching to his cousin, Jordan Lent, and many times they will flip-flop. Jordan is one of the other pitchers, and when Jordan pitches, Christian usually catches. Al Moran at second, Margaret Jennings, or Al Moran at first, Margaret Jennings at second, Ruben Morero at short, Sulev Loer at third. And your outfield is Josh Leon left, Aiden Ripollet in center, and Jaime Lopez in right to set the defense for the Firefighters. Leading off for the Angels is their pitcher, Gabe Clark. Got it. And Coach Egan just letting me know that Romel Escobar will be batting after Will Kingston, will be the 11th batter for Peekskill. Now in Little League now, in District 33, the teams will do what they call roster batting. Every player that is at the game that day will bat in the lineup. They do not come out of the lineup of the batting order. They need to play 6 consecutive outs in the field. So coaches can pick and choose how they want to play those players in the field. It's got to be 6 consecutive outs, 2 innings pretty much, at least. But the lineup stays the same. So Peekskill batting, Firefighters batting 11 tonight, and the Angels batting 12. So the player is always in the game, always in the lineup. It's a good rule. Seen it for many years in summer ball and in fall ball. Gives everyone a chance to get a couple at bats in the game. So Christian warming up. And we saw last week our game that we televised with Mike Miner. Thanks again to Mike and MJM for our second broadcast this year, and his crew, as it was last week, is Jesse Girolo on the first base camera and Billy Miner on top of the truck in center field. Mike running the things in his new truck. But last week the Firefighters lost to the Navajo of Cortland National Little League. In the Cortland National Little League, we were talking about the names of the teams. Cortland American using professional Major League Baseball names, Peekskill using their sponsor's name. Cortland National uses Indian names, and then in Navajo, Apache, Hopi, Iroquois, I believe, are some of the names that traditionally Cortland National uses as their team names. And again, they'll have sponsors from local businesses that they'll put on the back of their jerseys. So I think Jordan needed an equipment change there. So a little late getting started. Christian is ready to go, and leading it off is Gabe Clark, pitcher for the Angels. Jordan's first pitch swung on and missed. 0-1. Pitch a little low. 1-1 to Gabe Clark. On deck is Anthony Jaski, the first baseman. His dad, one of the coaches. Gabe's dad, Scott, also one of the coaches here are the Angels. That ball low. 2-1. And we are getting toward the end of the season. Both teams probably have 2 games left. Playoffs will happen for the Cortland American teams. The Firefighters, obviously with only 1 team in their division, will not be involved in any playoffs. But the Cortland American and Cortland National, I'm sure will be involved in Williamsport All-Star Tournament. Last year, Peekskill combined with a Croton team to enter the tournament. Not sure if that's happening this year. I believe Peekskill will have a 10U team entered in the tournament. That will be most of our minor A players who are doing interleague also. Here's a pop-up, short left field, Marubin going out. Josh coming in, and it drops between them. So a base hit for Gabe Clark to lead off the top of the first for the Angels. Tough play, that one, just getting over Ruben's head and in front of Josh. Josh playing a little deep. Christian digging out the mound there. Wants to get a good feel. Pitch a little high, 1-0 to Jaski. Two and 0 to Jaski. Nice night for baseball. The sun is out, no threat of rain. It was a hot, kind of humid day. Things are cooling off as the sun starts to go down. Sun is in the center fielder's eyes a little bit, definitely in the far right field corner as it is up at our field at Tompkins Park on Lapolla Field. Straightaway center field is deadly with the sun. More in right field here at St. Columbanus. That pitch swung on and missed. 2-1 to Anthony Jaski. Paulie Costello on deck. Christian moving Josh a little bit over toward the line, more in left. That pitch swung on a miss. Runner goes. Throw down. Not in time. Clark safe at second. He holds there. Throw goes into center field. Not a bad throw by Jordan. Two and 2 to Anthony Jaski. That pitch on the outside corner for strike 3. So Christian has his first strikeout. Jordan struck out, so he's kind of running the stand, coaching first base, keeping everything in order, getting the kids into the dugout, acting as president and coach all in one day. Not an easy job, as we spoke with Chris last week. President of our league, Chris Hansel, couldn't be here tonight. It's a lot of work. But Cortland American, with a nice board of directors also, as we have in Peekskill, do a good job. Here's a pop-up to the mound. Christian gets it and runner off a second, and he will get a double play. So nice play by Christian Lent on the pop-up to retire the side, and they double Clark off a second base to retire the side. So the double play ends the inning for the Angels, and at the end of one inning, it is Peekskill Firefighters 0 and the Cortland American Angels 0. We are playing interleague here. Tonight's game is an interleague game between the Peekskill Lapolla Little League and the Cortland American Little League. These two leagues are also involved with Cortland National Little League at the major division of interleague play. So they will play Cortland American and Cortland National will play games within their own league, and they'll play outside their leagues along with Peekskill. Obviously, their only team in our league will play all their games against either Cortland American or Cortland National. At the minor A level, what we call minor A at Peekskill Lapolla Little League, we are playing interleague with Cortland National and Putnam Valley. And at our minor B level, which is more of a machine coach pitch league, Peekskill Lapolla is playing interleague with Cortland American and Putnam Valley. And T-ball is all in-house. Nobody is traveling at the T-ball level, 4 and 5, mostly 4 and 5-year-olds. But it's a new thing. It was something we definitely needed in Peekskill. Our numbers are down. The numbers are down in all the leagues. And we did a little interleague play last year with Peekskill and Croton. They played a total of 12 games, and the other leagues got wind of it, liked it so much, and so they decided over the winter. Our president, Chris Hanzik, was a big mover of the interleague play, along with the Cortland American, Cortland National, to form a sort of a northern division of interleague. And also in the southern part of the county with Croton, Osting, and Briarcliff, they are playing games amongst themselves in an interleague fashion. So interleague is the way of the future here, definitely in District 33. Baseball numbers are down all around the county. So in order for the kids to play baseball and not have to play against the same teams over and over, the interleague was a great idea, and so far it's worked out really well. You have to work out a few things here or there as far as in-house rules and things of that nature, but it's It's been a great experience for all the leagues, in my opinion, as we finish up the first year. Here's Al Moran, the first baseman, right-handed hitter, left-handed thrower. 0-1 count to him by that pitch in there for call, strike 2. So Al looks at 2. Gabe Clark still on the mound for the Angels. Top of the second, no score. Waste one high and outside. 1-2 to Al Moran. I think there's only 4 12-year-olds on the Firefighters, so they'll have 8 of their players coming back. That pitch in dirt, 2-2. And our 2 minor A teams that are mostly 9 and 10-year-olds have some nice players who will move up to the major league team next year. And really the hope of Chris Hanslick and John Egan and the rest of our board of directors that we kind of build on the interleague thing and keep the younger players down at the minor levels so they don't have to come up and play major baseball just to fill rosters. That's why we went with just the 1 team. So hopefully we'll be able to build on what we've got. And Al draws a walk to lead off the inning. So after being down 2 strikes, he works out a walk to lead off the top of the second. So Al at first for Margaret Jennings, now the second baseman. Margaret, the lone female on the Firefighters, but she is a nice player, works really, really hard, has come a long way. That pitch in the dirt. Al's going to try to get to second, the throw down. Not in time. He's safe. So no slide, and the swipe tag was missed. So Al is in at second. If he had slid there, it would have been easily with the swipe by the shortstop. 2-0 to Margaret now. Al at second base with nobody out. Sulev Loer, the third baseman, on deck. That pitch on the outside corner. 2-1. Gabe Clark on the mound for the Angels of the Cortland American Little League. That pitch high. Margaret ducks under, 3-1. Umpire Richie Mond. Seen Rich around a few times. Seen him at some of Earl's clinics and classes. And that pitch is high, ball 4. So Margaret draws a walk. So the second walk of the inning by Gabe Clark. And Coach Chris Wiseman going to come out and talk to Gabe. And he might be making a change. Not yet. First and second now for Sulev Loer, the third baseman for the Firefighters. First pitch in the dirt. We saw Sulev on our last broadcast get a hard hit to right field against the Navajo, and they were playing a little shallow, and it would hit it so hard that the right fielder was able to throw him out at first base. So the base hit turned into a ground out, actually. But because Sulev hit the ball so hard, he's a big boy. He's got a little power if he gets hold. Throw gets away from the pitcher, but no advancement. You can see Al out there talking to Sulev, or the pitcher. He's talking to the shortstop now. Al will talk to anybody. He's having a good time. Pitch a little inside. 2-1 count to Sulev Loer. His dad Rain is here, as he is just about at every game. Sulev's younger brother Ivo plays in our minor division. That pitch swung on and missed, 2-2. And when both boys are playing simultaneously up at Tompkins, one on the upper Lapolla field, one on the lower Rundle field, Rain will stand in the right field corner of the upper field where he can watch both games, which you are able to do at our field. That pitch in there for a call, strike 3. So Sulev looked like a good pitch. And Gabe gets his first out and his second strikeout. And that's going to bring up Jaime Lopez, the right fielder. Jaime, a left-handed hitter, 12-year-old. Jaime, good stick with good power. See if he can bring home a runner from second. First pitch outside, 1-0. First and second, 1 out. Top of the second, no score. Big Skill Lapolla Little League Baseball. I'm Joe DeChristopher. We're here at St. Columbanus Field. Here's a ground ball to second, fielded, and And Margaret is called out. Good play by Margaret, actually, to avoid the tag. They were going to try and tag and then throw Jaime out at first for the double play. Margaret avoided the tag, was actually called out for running out of the baseline, but it enabled Jaime to get to first base before a throw could be made and the double play. So he's at first base. Alon is at third now for Will Kingston, who is DHing. Will, a 10-year-old, plays a little second base. I'm sure we'll see him out there later on in the game. Came up to the majors as a 9-year-old last year. See if he can pick up Al at third base. Al's talking to somebody in the dugout now. That pitch in there for a strike. Will's got to be careful. Can't duck under those. And I think Al said, smack it for your birthday. I heard them singing happy birthday, so I'm guessing that it's Will's birthday today. So happy birthday to Will, if that's the case. That pitch in there for call strike 2. Gabe Clark. And Coach Egan want Jaime to go down to second, the first and third situation. That pitch high, Jaime not going. He can't leave the base until the ball reaches home plate. What Coach Egan wants Jaime to do is steal second and see what the defense does. If they throw through, then maybe the run can score. That pitch is high. And he left too early. Umpire Rich Edmond is going to send him back. He left too early. You got to wait till the ball reaches home plate. So Jaime has to go back to first. Three and 2 count, so he's off on the pitch anyway. As soon as it reaches home plate, he should be moving on a 3-2 count with 2 outs anyway. Will Kingston, the batter. Al Moran at third. 3-2. And the outside corner, strike 3. So Gabe Clark able to retire the side. Peekskill with a threat, but not able to score. And you heard umpire Rich, and he was right. I think Jaime left when the ball was released, which is not the rule. And umpire Rich saw that one easily, sent him back. So at the end of 1.5 innings, it's no score. Peekskill Firefighters versus the Cortland American Angels. And again, we are doing an interleague game here. Peekskill Lapolla Little League and the Cortland American Little League. Interleague play becoming a thing of the future here in District 33. And really a good thing. As I mentioned at the last break, it's been a positive thing for us. And after coming toward the end of the first year, I think it's been a success. We did have to iron out a few things. Some of our minor divisions might play a little bit different as far as home rules and how many runs you can score in an inning. And we actually, in our minor B division, use a pitching machine, and we limit each batter to 6 strikes. And when we had a couple teams from Cortland American come to our field, and we used that rule, and they liked it better than what they did. They had an umpire calling balls and strikes with no walks, and they liked the six limit pitch per batter better, so they kind of adopted it. So those are the kind of things that will kind of go with the flow this first year and talk about them over the winter and try to make them a little more concrete amongst all the divisions next season, as we will head into our next year of interleague play. Leading it off now for the Angels is left fielder Frankie Rice. And we know Frankie. Frankie was one of our players at the Cortandt Youth Football League. We had a bunch of them from the Navajo last week, played in the CYFL. Frankie actually played for me and Coach Jim Booth and Coach Bruce Pappas on the Little Giants in the Cortandt Youth Football League. And Frankie was one of our good lineman. He was a good, strong blocker and tackler. Big barrel-chested young man. And I imagine he's batting cleanup. He probably has good power. He had a great arm throwing a football. And he leads off the bottom of the second here for the Angels. His grandpa, Eddie Rice, here as he was. Here's a ground ball to the right side. Past Christian, Margaret fields, and throws in time. Just able to get Frank. Nice play by Margaret to retire Frankie Rice. So Frank got that one off the end of the bat, a little bit out in front. And as we said, his grandfather, Eddie, playing right field tonight, or so we think. Still haven't gotten all the positions. That pitch swung on and missed. 1-1 count to Mike Iannucci. In the dirt, 2-1. That pitch high. 3-1 now to Mike Iannucci. Here's a ground ball to the right side. Margaret Fields throws in time. Nice play again by Margaret Jennings. 2 chances in a row for her. We talked to her when she was up there. She's worked really hard, has shown much improvement. Fielded those 2 ground balls very nicely, throwing to Al for both outs. You see Al went over to give her a high five. Al's talking to somebody again. He's talking to Margaret. It's all pumped up. 2 outs now for Chris Zenzamachi. That pitch swung on and missed. 0-1. And there for a call, strike 2. 0-2 now to Zenzamachi. In the dirt, 1-2. But straight up. Hit the overhang on the backstop, which saves a lot of baseballs, but you got to watch out if you're umpiring. You don't. Most umpires don't wear the hockey mask, and umpire Rich with no helmet on, that ball comes straight down off that backstop, can knock you right in the head. That check swing, foul ball. 1-2 to Chris Zenzamachi. He's up with 2 outs and nobody on here in the bottom of the second. No score. Peekskill Lapolla Little League Firefighters in the dirt, 2-2 versus the Cortland American Little League Angels. Tyler Ronk on deck. Here's a ground ball to short. Big hop for Ruben. Throw over in time. So nice inning for Jamie. Defense doing a nice job behind him. So Ruben throws out Zenzamachi. 3 up, 3 down for Christian. And at the end of 2 innings, it's Peekskill Firefighters 0 and the Cortland American Little League Angels 0. We want to mention some of our sponsors at the Peekskill Lapolla Little League, and it looks like the Angels will make a pitching change. We'll try to find out who that is. But our sponsors for the season this year at Peekskill Lapolla League are, as we've been talking about, our major league sponsor are the Firefighters of Peekskill, their manager John Egan. Firefighters have been a long-time sponsor of the Peekskill Lapolla Little League in the major division. Our minor A sponsors are the Fire Patrol and their managers Nelson Alcantara and Rob Shurak. And our other minor A entry is the Cortland Lanes, the Bow and Owl. We all know where that is, and their manager Nick Zacalario. Our minor B sponsors are Danes Lumber, our opening day honoree this year, with over, we think, 40 years of sponsorship in the Peekskill Lapolla Little League. Their manager is Dave Ojeda. The National Association of Letter Carriers, the Mailman Union, and Local 693, whose office is in Peekskill. And their manager is Israel Zarella. And Puglisi Contracting, Frank Puglisi, another longtime sponsor and a good friend of the Peekskill Lapolla Little League, and their manager George Travis. Our 4 T-ball sponsors are the Elks Lodge, back after a little break as a sponsor, and Serena Warren, one of our board members, the manager. The Kenneth Pregno Agency, right down in the middle of town. Another longtime sponsor, George Travis, is also their manager. The Resco organization over down there at Charles Point, Heather Shurak, their manager. And the Road Knights, last year's opening day honoree, and Kiz Fleming, their manager. So thank you to all our sponsors of the Peekskill Lapolla Little League. And as we always say, we hope that you support them as they support us. So we're going to move to the top of the third. And we have a new pitcher for the Angels. Gabe Clark out. And the first pitch to Ramel in there for a call strike. That pitch swung on a miss. 0-2 to Ramel Escobar. And there for a call strike 3. So Ramel down on strikes to lead off the third. 3 pitches. Here's Jordan Lent now. Jordan led off the game with a long double to left center field, but was stranded there in the first inning. He bats here in the third for the second time. Jordan with good power. First pitch in the dirt, 1-0. That's Victor Versace on the mound. Victor Versace, or Versace, like the designer, I was told. Here's a fly ball to deep right field and over the head of the right fielder. Will roll to the wall. Jordan into second, and he will hold there with his second double of the game. So Boogs 2 for 2 with 2 doubles. That one got over the head of the right fielder. Had a little trouble seeing the ball. I think that's Mike Iannucci in right field. Kind of got frozen there for a second. The sun is peeking through over there, but Jordan has a 1-out double for the Firefighters. And that brings up Josh Leal, who walked his first time up. First pitch is a little high. 1 out, runner at second, top of the third, no score. I'm Joe DeChristopher. This is Peekskill Lapolla Little League Baseball, brought to you by Mike Miner and MJM Productions. Mike in the truck, Billy Miner on top of the truck and center field camera, and Jesse Girola on the first base camera. 3-0 now to Josh. Christian on deck. Pitch swung on a miss, so Josh getting the green light on 3-0. Not sure if Coach Egan gave him the green light. But good aggressive hitting by Josh. Good pitch to hit. He missed it. And that's high for ball 4. So Josh is on with his second walk. First and second now with 1 out for Christian Lent. Christian's dad, Jay, one of Coach Egan's coaches, assistant coaches. I was a manager for a couple years in our league, and Jay not able to be here tonight, but this is his son, Christian. Foul ball off the first base side. Watch out for Jesse over there. He's all right. Christian's younger brother, Jeremy, playing in our minor division. Definitely be up in the majors next year. Jeremy's one of the better players in our minor A's. And his cousin, Jordan, at second base. His brother, Dylan, graduated out of the league. Here's Boogs trying to get to third, and he'll get there safely. He's at third. Josh does not move up. So it's first and third now for the Firefighters with 1 out. So Jordan gets to third. 1-1 count to Christian Lent. Josh stays at first. We'll see if Josh goes now on the first and third situation. Victor Versace on the mound for the Angels in relief of Gabe Clark. Pitch in there for a call strike. 1-2 to Christian Lent. And that pitch swung on a miss. So Christian down on strikes for the second out. We think the catcher is Frankie Rice, and I know Frank has a real strong arm. So we'll see what Josh does here now. First and third and 1 out. And Aiden Repole, who flew out to deep center field his first time, right in front of the fence. There's a pop-up off of first base. Anthony over and makes the play. Nice play by Anthony Jaschke. Nice looking first baseman, left-handed first baseman, retires Aiden for the third out. So Peekskill threat. We just mentioned all our sponsors in our league, and we want to give another shout out to this year's opening day honoree was Danes Lumber, located down on Water Street. I believe 168 years of business here in Peekskill. Same location, same family-owned business. Jeff Dane running the show down there now, and he has been very good to our league over the years. Came to opening day, gave a nice speech to all the kids, stressing that you need to practice in everything you do, whether it's playing baseball, whether it's your schoolwork. Whatever you do, you need to practice to get better at anything you do, and encouraged all the kids in the league. And Jeff really had a good time. He was happy to be there, and they were also receiving an honor from the County of Westchester Business Association, kind of their Hall of Fame. So big year for Danes Lumber, and we thank Jeff and everyone at Danes Lumber for their support of over 40 years in the Peekskill Lapolla Little League. And they do many other things too. They sponsor with the Peekskill Tides. They sponsor things up in Garrison. Many youth sport activities Danes Lumber is involved with. So congratulations to them, and again, thank you to them for all their support over the years. And leading it off for the Angels here at the bottom of the third inning is Tyler Ronk. A right-handed hitter. Christian Lent still on the mound for the Firefighters. Kept his pitch down pretty low. That last inning, he had 3 batters in a row. And there is a pitch count in Little League, and I wish Chris was here so he could explain it to you. I have it somewhere. I believe it's for a 12-year-old, 85 pitches. But the pitch count is another rule that Little League has gone with. It's the protect the pitcher's arm. And years ago, the pitching rule was you could only pitch 6 innings in a week, and now it's a matter of pitches and days of rest in between games, depending on how many pitches you have thrown. 1-1 count now to Tyler Ronk. Christian Lent on the mound. Here's a line drive to left field, curving foul, and that'll play up against the batting cage, as they have down here at the St. Columbanus Field at Cortland American Little League. One and one to Tyler Ronk. Little high. 2-2 count. No changes yet for Peekskill on the defensive side. We'll see Will and Ramel. That pitch swung on a miss, dug out of the dirt by Jordan, and a nice play to Al to get the out. Again, we had the drop third strike, and that was a problem last week for Jordan when he was pitching. Coach Egan had Josh Leal catching for the first time, and the backstop at Lapolla Field up at Tompkins Park is a lot further back. And in the first inning, Jordan struck out 6 batters. 3 of them were for outs, and 3 of them reached on a drop pass ball. Josh had a hard time controlling Jordan's pitches, and 3 batters struck out and reached base and eventually scored in the first inning. So with Christian pitching and Jordan a little bit more experienced catcher, we had the drop, or the ball hitting the dirt. He didn't drop the ball, but once the ball hits the dirt, the batter is able to run with first base unoccupied with less than 2 outs, and then if first base is occupied with 2 outs, the runner is allowed to run. So it's the rule that's been on the big field forever, and the Little League has adopted that the last 2 or 3 years. Something the kids have a hard time getting used to, but they all have learned it here now. We've been doing it 2 years now at Peekskill Lapolla. And it's just something that the more you do it, the better you get at it, the more you understand it. 3-1 to Eric O'Brien, the batter. Sorry we didn't give Eric's name. Pitch swung on a miss, 3-2. Here's the 3-2. In there for a call, strike 3. Nice pitch by Christian. 2 out now, his 3rd strikeout. And that's going to bring up Cameron Wiseman. His dad, Chris, is the coach of the Angels, or manager, we should say. Little League has manager and coaches. Manager is in charge. Coaches are the assistants. And Cameron Wiseman, son of manager Chris Wiseman. Here's a grounder to third, fielded by Sulev on 1 hop. The throw in time. So nice play by Sulev. Good throw to Al, and Christian with 3 up and 3 down for the 2nd inning in a row. to retire the side. Nice defense played so far by the Firefighters, and at the end of 3 innings, the score is Peekskill Firefighters 0 and the Cortland American Little League Angels 0. So we want to mention our board of directors at the Peekskill Lapolla Little League. It's a group that is actually growing as we speak. It's a lot of hard work that gets put in by everyone especially during the off season, and as the season moves along, keeping the concession stand opened and keeping the league up and running. Of course, we know our president, Chris Hanslick, who was with us last week for the broadcast. Chris could not be here tonight. Vice president is George Travis, whose dad was president of the Little League way back when George played. George, vice president now, and coaches 2 teams, a T-ball team and a minor B team. He actually has a game tonight over at our field. Bill Zaboris is our treasurer. He's been our treasurer for over 10 years, probably 12 or 13 years, a former manager in the major division. Myself, Joe DeChristopher, I am the head umpire and the schedule maker. So when we have all those rainouts, which we have not had many of this year, I got to figure out when we're going to play them, but it really hasn't been bad this year, and everybody is pretty much on schedule with playing all their games. I think we have 1 game we need to get a date for that was rained out a couple weeks ago. Serena Warren, one of our board members, coaches a T-ball team. Danny Lent, who is Christian Lent and Jordan Lent's uncle, is a board member and pretty much has taken control of our concession stand and keeps that up and running, keeps everything ordered. It's there every night, cooking and selling the drinks and snacks. Nelson Alcantara, one of our minor lay umpires, or managers rather. Dave Lapolla, whose grandparents were a couple of the founding members of the league, handles all our technology, our website, a former coach and player in our league. And Ruben Marrero leads it off here in the top of the 4th. We'll get through the rest of the board of directors in a minute. Ruben struck out his first time up. No score here in the top of the 4th. That pitch in there for a strike. 1-1 count to Ruben Marrero, the shortstop tonight. Victor Versace on the mound for the Angels. Gabe Clark started through 2 innings. Victor in his 2nd inning for the Angels. 2-1 to Ruben. Here's a pop-up to short right field and drops in front of the right fielder behind the second baseman. So Ruben has a leadoff hit here in the 4th, and that was definitely a sun factor for the right fielder. Second baseman was not able to get it, popped out over his head, and the right fielder was frozen. Where he's standing right now, he's in the shade, but as he took 1 step in, the sun, you can tell directly in his eyes. So Ruben has a leadoff single. Here's Al Moran. Al walked his first time up. Ruben's there with nobody out here in the top of the 4th. We're scoreless. Game moving along nicely. That pitch way high. Gets away. Ruben down to second, and he'll get there easily. So he's down to second with nobody out for Al Moran. Alon. Pitch swung on and missed. 2-1. Frankie Rice is the catcher. I'm telling you, Frank has a strong arm. I've seen him throw a football. Swung on a miss, strike 2. Frankie was a lineman in our league, had to play line because of his weight. But if he was able to play quarterback, he'd be throwing long passes, a very strong throwing arm. And that pitch swung on and held on, tipped and held on by Frank for strike 3. So good job by Frankie Rice to squeeze that tip. And Alon is down on strikes for the first out. Margaret Jennings, the hitter now. Margaret walked her first time up. Made 2 good plays in the infield a couple innings ago at second. Pitching on the inside corner for first strike. In there for a call, strike 2. So Victor Versace gets ahead of Margaret. No balls and 2 strikes. We're in the top of the 4th. No score. That one way high. Victor wastes 1. 1-2 to Margaret Jennings. Ruben Marrero led off the inning with a single. Went down to second on a wild pitch. And that pitch on the outside corner, strike 3. So Margaret is down on strikes. Second strikeout of the inning for Victor. And his 3rd in the game in his 2 innings. And here comes Coach Chris, see if he's going to make a change. And it looks like he's going to bring in his left fielder. And that probably was a pitch count thing. Chris might be limiting his pitchers. If you throw a certain amount of pitches, you don't need as many days rest. That's probably the best way I can put it without having the pitching rules in front of me. I believe if you throw 25 or less, you are able to work with no days rest. And there are a little bit more. You pitch 1 day's rest, 2 days rest, so forth and so on. So it looks like Coach Chris might be using a few different pitchers, saving on the pitch count, and also saving his pitching rotation for probably their last regular season game, which I imagine would be this Saturday. And whoever this is a big, hard-throwing left-hander. I think that's his son, Cameron. We're going to say that's Cameron Wiseman. And he'll come in with 2 outs and a runner at second for Sulev Loer. Sulev struck out his first time up. Sulev made a nice play at third base last inning. Frankie Rice, the catcher. Looks like Victor moved to left field. Switched spots with Cameron. And here's Sulev Loer. First pitch outside, 1-0. Ruben still in third. And Frankie holding on to the ball. Might have caught Frankie by surprise there. So Ruben steals third. He gets there with 2 outs. The pitch swung on and missed. Ball gets away from Frank. Cameron comes home. But again, it is a short distance. And Frank able to keep that one right in front of him. So no advancement by Ruben. That one in the dirt goes to the backstop and comes right back. So it's only about 6 or 7 feet from home plate. Actually, more like 4 or 5 feet from where Frankie is sitting to the backstop. So hard to get any advancement. That one swung on and missed by Sulev. So Cameron Wiseman throws hard. And you hear Coach Chris reminding Frankie about the drop third strike. And that in there for a call, strike 3. So the Angels strike out the side, 2 by Victor and 1 by Cameron to end the threat. The leadoff walk, not able to come around and score for the Firefighters. So in the middle of the 4th inning, score remains 0-0 between the Peekskill Lapolla Little League Firefighters and the Cortland American Little League Angels. We want to finish up the rest of our board of directors. We did mention Dave Lapolla, again, a former player, a former coach in our league, and again, his last name is the name of our league. His grandparents, Ray Lapolla and Catherine Lapolla, 2 of the instrumental founders of the league back in 1963. Jahara Zagarel, one of our new board members. Her son plays in the minor division, along with Amanda Rosalind, another one of our newer board members. Her son on the same team as Jahara's son, Joey and Jackson. And we actually have, as of our last meeting, we accepted 2 new board members, 2 more ladies to our Peekskill Lapolla Little League board. Chrissy Sacalario, whose husband Nick is one of the managers. Her 2 boys play. And Tara Lent, who is Danny Lent's wife, and she has been already the assistant director of the concession stand, if you want to call that. She's there every night behind the concession stand counter and cooking and waiting on everyone. Does a great job. So we welcome Chrissy and Tara to the Peekskill Lapolla Little League Board of Directors and look forward to working with them in the next bunch of years. Here's Victor Versace leading it off for the Angels here in the 4th. Christian Lentz still on the mound for the Firefighters. I don't imagine his pitch count is too high. He's gotten 7 batters in a row. Actually, has pitched to the minimum. He's gave up a base hit, and that runner was later doubled off. So he is pitching to his 10th batter here in the 4th. Here's a ground ball right back to Christian. Steps and throws to Al in time. So 1 out here in the 4th. Jack Laughlin, the batter now. for the for the Angels rather. First pitch in there for a call strike, and what Christian has really done nicely is to get ahead of the batter. He's throwing strikes pretty much. Hasn't walked anybody, just the one base hit so far. His defense has helped him out. Good play on the infield, including himself. He caught a pop-up and doubled up Gabe Clark way back in the first. Fielded that ground ball nicely. 0-2 count now to Jack Laughlin. Here's a rip inside first base. Fair ball down the line. Fielded by I believe that's Romel in right field. Escobar. Romel replacing Jaime. That's only the second hit given up by Christian. And Danny Witters now the batter for the Angels. His dad, Tommy, as we mentioned, is the president of the Cortland American Little League. And a bunch of these players. Here's a steal to third, or attempted steal throw down to Will, who has gone to third base for Sulev. And the runner goes back to second. Laughlin back to second. Went about halfway. Jordan threw to third to Will. Runner holding. Here's a fly ball to center. Aiden underneath. And drops it. And looked like the sun got in his eyes. You can see him right there, the sun right on his sunglasses, and he stepped right into that area where the sun is. Kind of misjudged it, hit his glove and fell loose. Not a lot of harm because the runner at second had a hold, Laughlin. So that puts runners at first and second. So tough play for Aiden. And here's Gabe Clark now up for his second time. He led off the bottom of the first with a single, was later doubled off second. Foul ball straight back. So first and second, one out. There's just that sun peeking through in short center field, right where Aiden had to come in to make the play. Pitch into dirt, runner's not going. And now it goes to third and safely there. Is Jack Laughlin. Danny Witters moves down to second. So kind of the delayed steal. Waiting for the catcher to throw the ball back to the pitcher, then going. That pitch high for a ball. 2-1 count to Gabe Clark now. He's got runners at second, third with one out here in the bottom of the fourth. What the catcher needs to do there if he sees the runner halfway is kind of run out toward the runner, make him commit. Here's a hard grounder in the hole. Base hit to left field. Josh Fields, one run scores. Witters will come around and he will score. So Gabe Clark with a 2 RBI single, drives in two, and the Angels lead 2-0 now. Nice job by Gabe. Hard hit ball, clean base hit to left field. Josh not able to throw out either runner. Laughlin scored easily, and Witters from second base. Here's Anthony Jaski now, the first baseman, struck out his first time up. Clark at first with one out. Christian gets ahead. 0-2. Christian bearing down. He's doing a nice job. He's given up just 3 hits. 2 runs so far here in the fourth. And that pitch swung on and missed. So Jaski down for the second time. 2 out now. Four strikeouts now for Christian. And that brings up Poli Costello. Ball popped up to Christian his first time. Lines that one into right field for a base hit and gets by Ramel. Clark rounds third and he will score. Relay throw comes in. And Costello down to second with a double. So I think Al got blinded by that one. The runner kind of crossed right in front of him on the line drive. Al never really reacted. The ball was in the right field. Ramel with the bobble in right field allowed Clark to come all the way around from first to score. Here's Frankie Rice now. Frankie grounded out to second, his first time up. Hit the ball right off the end of the bat. 3-0 now, the Angels lead with Costello at second base. Here's a pop-up on the infield. Christian underneath it and makes the play to retire the side. So Frankie's retired on the pop-up, but not before the Angels score 3 runs here in the 4th, and at the end of 4 innings, it is the Cortland American Little League Angels 3 and the Peekskill Lapolla Little League Firefighters 0. So good job by the Angels here to pick up their men and drive a few runs in. They take the lead. And we are at the St. Columbanus Field, home of the Cortland American Little League. And I don't know if I'm totally accurate on this, but this field originated, I'm guessing, in the spring of 1973. I was a student at the Assumption School in Peekskill, and we had a little 4-team CYO league, the Assumption School, St. Joseph's, remember the old home down on South Street, St. Patrick's in Verplank, and St. Columbanus here in town of Cortland. And this field back behind the church was just that. It was just an open field with a backstop, and from what I can remember, the players and the coach kind of came out and dug out the baselines, dug out the baseball field so they could play games here. So I'm thinking that's how this field originated, and obviously over the years has turned into a really nice facility, a lot of signage here, a nice scoreboard in left center field. They actually had a fire here a few years ago and lost almost their whole clubhouse and everything in it, and did a great fundraising job, and were able to rebuild the clubhouse and concession stand. It looks beautiful now. But I'm thinking that's how the field here at St. Columbanus originated way back in the day. Here's Jaime. And he pops one straight back, and no one hit by that foul ball. And this field also used for many Williamsport tournament games. We had a team come here and play in 2006. I won a game against Armonk. And they host many tournament games here, as we do in Tompkins Park and Lapolla Field in Peekskill. That fits fouled straight back by Jaime. Count stays at 0-2. He's got a good rip, 2 pitches. A little low. Cameron Wiseman on the mound for the Angels. His 2nd inning, pitch inside, 2-1. 2-2 rather, to Jaime Lopez. Peekskill trails 3-0. They're playing a really nice game today. Good infield defense. Good pitching by Christian. That pitch swung on a miss, missed by the catcher. And the left-handed catcher throws to first, and it's dropped by the first baseman. So Jaime able to reach on the drop third strike. Catcher is left-handed. We think that's Jasky, who was playing first base earlier. Out for Will Kingston, the birthday boy. Pitch a little high. Will's mom and sister are here, as they are just about every home game. Off the glove of the catcher, Jasky. Jaime down to second easily. Jaime with tall, long strides. He's down to second, looked like in about 4 strides. So he's down to second with nobody out now. And Will Kingston, 2-0 count. Pitch on the inside corner, 2-1 to Will Kingston. That pitch swung on a miss, 2-2. Cam Wiseman on the mound for the Angels. He's in relief of Gabe Clark. Actually, of Victor Versace. That pitch off the glove of Jasky. Jaime to third, slides in safely. So he gets there with nobody out. 3-2 count to Will Kingston. Gabe Clark started for the Angels, Victor Versace, and now Cameron Wiseman, who strikes out Will for the first out of the inning. And that will bring up Romel Escobar now. Fighters looking for their first win of the year. Played a couple really good games, lost 2-1 last week. Trail here 3-0 here in the 4th. But really, probably their best game played so far. Defensively, had a couple scoring opportunities, not able to cash in as of yet. That pitch high, 2-0 to Romel Escobar. Jaime Lopez at third with 1 out here in the 5th. That pitch high. For the league, 6-inning games. So Peekskill with 2 more shots at it. Actually 5 outs to go. That in there for a call strike. So Cameron throwing hard. He's a big, tall left-hander. Throws pretty hard. That pitch in there for a call strike. 3-2 now to Ramel Escobar. And that one low. So Ramel draws a walk. Coach Egan with 11 of his 12 players, really one of his better hitters, Robert Garcia, not able to make the game tonight. We saw Robert on TV last week, have a nice game, shortstop, had hit the ball well twice. I think he was up, hit the ball hard both times. Good left-handed hitter. Could have used him tonight in the lineup, but Robert not able to make it. So Ramel is down to first and third with 1 out, and Jordan up. Jordan swings and misses, has 2 doubles so far tonight. 2 long doubles, 1 to left center, 1 to right center. Trying to pick up Jaime at third base now with 1 out. Ramel at first. Cameron Wiseman on the mound for the Angels. And pitch high, you can hear him cracking the mitt there of Jaski, the catcher. That pitch high and outside. Jordan actually the potential tying run at the plate here for the Firefighters. Josh Leal on deck. That pitch swung on a miss. So Jordan with the big swing. 2-2. Just needs to make contact. Jordan is a big, strong boy. Doesn't have to take a hard cut. Jordan, Christian, Jeremy, Dylan playing ball all the time. But up here, here's a line drive foul down a right field line. Hit hard by Jordan. Just a little behind it. All the Lemp boys, the Gordoniers, always up at our field playing baseball, whether there's a game or not. There's a game on one field, they're down below playing on the other field. T-ball field, wherever they can find a place to play. That went in for a call, strike 3. Good pitch by Cameron to get Jordan on strikes for the second out. That's the 5th strikeout for Cameron Wiseman. 2 out now for Josh Leal. Runners at first and third for the Firefighters. Firefighters had opportunities in every inning. Had first and second in the first inning. First and third in the second inning. First and third in the third inning. First and third here in the 5th. That pitch high to Josh. Josh has walked twice so far. Pitch in there for a call strike. 1-1 to Josh Leal. Angels lead the Firefighters 3-0 here in the top of the 5th inning. Peekskill Lapolla Little League Baseball. 2-1 now to Josh. Add in there for a call, strike 2. 2-2 now to Josh Leal. Cameron Wiseman on the mound for the Angels. We were back and threw that one a little extra. Here comes Jaime trying to score, and he will score. So that one got away from Jaski. Wiseman did not cover the plate, but Jaime was down there in a hurry. He's really tall, has really long strides, and is fast. And he's able to score the first run for Peekskill. So it's 3-1 now with Josh up at bat. That pitch high. 3-2 now. Ramil moved down to second base, and that was ball 4. I thought that was ball 4. Josh has his 3rd walk of the day. So it's 1st and 2nd now for Christian. Tying runs on base now for the Firefighters. 2 out here in the 5th inning. They trail 3-1 to the Angels. Christian has popped up and struck out. First pitch in there for a call strike. Cameron Wiseman trying to work out of a jam here. He's given up 1 run so far. Has runners at first and second with 2 out. And with a little high and inside, 1-1. A pitch high, 2-1 to Christian. Aiden Repollet on deck. In there for a call, strike 2. So Wiseman, hard-throwing left-hander, trying to work out of this jam. 2-2 count, 2 out. Runners at first and second, 3-1. The Angels lead the Firefighters. There's a ground ball to first, handled on one hop, nicely by the first baseman to retire the side. So Christian made good contact, but a nice play by the first baseman, nice big hop for him, and was able to get to the bag to retire Christian. But Peekskill does score a run. The Firefighters score one here in the fifth, and in the middle of the fifth inning, it's the Cortland American Little League Angels 3 and the Peekskill Little League Firefighters 1. Now we talked a little bit about St. Columbanus Field, and when I got here earlier, I was up in the clubhouse and just kind of looking around, and there are a lot of banners on the fences out here for some championships that the Cortland American Little League has won. We mentioned last year they were the 2015 9 and 10 district champions in the Williamsport tournament, and we see over here behind first base the 2014 12-year-old New York District 33 Williamsport champions. There were several summer league champions, fall league championships, different age groups. So over the years, Cortland American Little League has been a good representative of District 33. And I also want to say that back in the early 70s, I believe it was up to 1970, Cortland had one league. There was no Cortland American, there was no Cortland National. The kids from both ends of Cortland, this side where we are now, which is basically the Walter Panis High School district side, and the other side, Montrose, Verplanck, Buchanan area, which is the Hen Hut area, were all in one league. And they had an all-star team in 1970 that was 1 or 2 games away from going to Williamsport. Beat the team that I was on from Peekskill 21-0, I believe. And there were guys that a lot of us played with and against in high school and played together in American Legion. Here's Mike Iannucci now. Mike rounded out to second his first time up here in the bottom of the fifth. But that team was a powerful team. Eddie Cuss and Eric Blattman and Greg Deeney and Duke Gedney, Ray Glassoff. And after that season, Cortland was made split into 2 leagues, an American and National. So I think the first year they actually played as Cortland American Little League might have been 1971. So that's totally unofficial, just going by memory. But the sign inside the clubhouse says Cortland American Little League established 1956. So I imagine that was the Cortland Little League, of which the Cortland American Little League is an offshoot of. Christian working to Iannucci now and call strike 3. So Iannucci down on strikes for the first out. Fifth strikeout for Christian, and he has done a nice job, really. He's given up the 3 runs, just on a few hits, 5 strikeouts. He's pumping strikes in, getting on top of the batters, doing a nice job. Chris Senzamachi now the hitter. Chris grounded to shortstop his first time. That pitch swung on and missed. 1-1. Nice job by the Firefighters so far here tonight. They trail by 2, playing hard, playing good defense. Christian giving them a good effort on the mound. That pitch swung on and missed by Senzamachi. 1-2 count. And I think Christian's pitch count is probably still at a low point. Yeah, I don't think he's thrown a lot. That pitch foul straight back. Hasn't walked anybody. No walks for Christian, just a few hits, 5 strikeouts. So I think he might be able to finish this game. He's in the 5th. If Peekskill does not take the lead, Cortland won't get up again. Here's a grounder to short. Here's Ruben, throw, in time nicely to Al. So for the second time, Senzamachi grounds to shortstop. So Ruben doing a nice job at short. Margaret a nice job at second. Al fielding all the throws over at first, and he's done a nice job. He's become a really nice first baseman, left-handed. Has learned to keep his foot on the base. At the beginning of the year, he was stepping off the bag really quickly. Here's Tyler Ronk now. I was umpiring the game earlier in the season against the Navajo. Here's a pop-up on the infield, Christian and Margaret, and neither one of them able to get it. The throw to first is not in time, so a little miscommunication or one of those in-betweeners. And Ronk has a blue pit behind the pitcher in front of the second baseman, so kind of a tough play. But I was umpiring that game, and one of the players on the Cortland national team hit a ground ball, throw to first, and Al called the runner out, and Al was quick to step off the base. He probably was safe. Al kind of surprised me. But since then, manager John Egan has been working with Al, and he's done a nice job fielding his position at first base. This one fouled behind first by Eric O'Brien. Eric struck out his first time up. Ronk at first with 2 outs. Angels lead 3-1 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Sun is pretty much no longer a factor in the outfield. So here's a pop-up down the first base side over near Jesse, and out of play. Jesse's okay. 0-2 to Eric O'Brien. That one fouled straight back to the backstop. 0-2. Count stays. Christian Lent going the whole way for Peekskill. Outside, runner goes, throw down, not in time. Tyler steals second. Coach Chris letting Tyler know he needed to slide here. Ruben not making a tag. I think Ruben thought it was a force play. Good throw by Jordan. So Ronk at second now. That pitch outside. 2-2. Our umpire, as we mentioned, Rich Amon, doing a nice job behind the plate, communicating with the kids. Single-man crew here on the small field. Rich, an experienced umpire out of Earl Berry and Tom Kenzel's school. Here's a chopper back to the mound. Christian Fields throws in time. Nice play by Christian Lent to retire the side. So Christian does a nice job, throws 5 innings, and unless Peekskill can tie or take the lead, he is done for the night. So we'll see what happens as we move to the 6th inning. At the end of 5, it's the Cortland Angels 3 and the Peekskill Firefighters 1. So we'll see who goes to the mound for the Angels. It looks like we do have a new pitcher. Number 6, tall right-hander. Don't know who that is, but we'll find out shortly. We just want to remind everyone, and for those of you who are watching and those players who may be watching themselves tonight, that 2 things coming up as the season starts to draw to a close is our awards dinner will be coming up shortly, probably at the end of June. Around the 20th or 27th of June. We haven't picked a date yet. We'll be doing that very shortly. We'll let everyone know over at the Cortland Colonial Restaurant. And Evan Liaskos and his family does a nice job for us every year with a nice buffet dinner, and all the awards are given out to the majors, minor A and minor B divisions. Our T-Ball awards will be Saturday, June 11th, right at the field. We'll do those right at the T-Ball field at Tompkins Park. So we'll let everyone know when the awards dinner is scheduled for, but it is coming up. We are now at the end of May, the very beginning of June. Season moving rapidly to a close, and we also want to remind everyone that we will be marching in the 4th of July parade on Monday, July 4th. As we do every year, the Peekskill Lapolla Little League will march in the parade. All players are invited to march in their uniforms, uniform tops at least, depending on how hot it is. Make sure you wear something comfortable, wear comfortable shoes, bring a bottle of water, but we'll remind everyone about that. But obviously that will be Monday, July 4th. And I believe we'll be lining up on the northern end of town this year, over in the Uriah Hill area, Highland Avenue, Reynolds Street, somewhere over there. We'll let everyone know where our lineup area is as soon as we get word from the guys at the fire department. Here's Aiden Repollet to lead off the top of the 6th now. Peekskill down 2. They need 2 to tie, 3 to take the lead. And we have a hard-throwing right-hander on the mound for the Angels. And if I had to take a guess, I'd say he's probably their ace. Could be Jack Laughlin. I thought I heard Coach Chris say Jack. That pitch low. 1-1. One-on-one count to Aiden Repollet. Aiden flew out to deep center field his first time. Here's a pop-up down the right field line, foul, and out of play. And Aiden popped up to first base his last time up. So he's over 2, made contact twice, just missed a home run back in the first inning. Here's a chopper. Short, fielded, throw. Got him, just got him. Nice play by the shortstop. And Aiden kind of slowed down looking at the shortstop. Got to run right through that bag. But nice play by the shortstop. It was a chopper, slow roller. He made a nice play, fielded cleanly, stepping through, and just got Aiden. Half a step. Here's Ruben Marrero. Ruben struck out and singled. First pitch low. Angels lead 3-1, top of the 6th. Peekskill down to their last 2 outs. Ruben Marrero and then Alan Moran, Al, on deck. Here's a fly ball just past the first baseman, but foul. 1-1. Swung on a miss, ball in the dirt. It's only 2 strikes. Ruben, all his teammates saw him to run, but he only had 2 strikes. Anthony Jaski, the catcher there, would have had to throw out if he needed it. That pitch in there for a call, strike 3. So Ruben down on strikes for the 2nd out. And that leaves it up to Al Moran. Al's still talking. He's up here with 2 outs. Top of the 6th, 3-1. The Angels lead the Firefighters. Pitch in there for a call, strike. Hard fastball by Jack Laughlin. Really nice, clean game tonight. No, not many errors, some hits, a couple key RBIs, not a lot of walks. That one a little low. And the Angels lead 3-1. Outside corner, strike 2. So Al down to his last strike now, and the Firefighters down to their last strike. But they really have played a nice game tonight. So 2nd broadcast of the year. Again, thanks to Mike and Billy and Jesse. And that pitch swung on and missed, strike 3. So Al down on strikes. That's going to retire the side, and that will end the game. So a really nice, clean game tonight. The Angels of the Cortland American Little League defeat the Firefighters of Peekskill Lapolla Little League. They still have not won, but they need to keep their heads high. Getting a good hand from fans of both teams. A lot of fans here from Peekskill came over to St. Columbine. It's a short ride, and a lot of the fans from Cortland American giving their Firefighters a good hand. Great job by Christian Lent on the mound. Struck out 5, only gave up a few hits, didn't walk anybody. Peekskill Firefighters had several opportunities to score. Weren't able to cash in except one time. The Angels had their 1 inning where they scored their 3 on the big hits by Tyler and Danny Witters scoring. So good job by the Angels. They defeat the Firefighters 3-1. Thanks again to Mike Miner, Billy Miner, and Jesse Girolo. This is Jody Christopher. And until next time, thank you and good night.